This is my recap of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, episode 16, Trail of Doubts. Trail of Doubts. So we open up with Yolanda going over to her ex-husband Mohammed to discuss their daughter that they have together, Gigi's party. So we see his 50,000 square foot house, which is gorgeous and huge and bigger than my high school. And I don't even understand like how you have that much space, like you have a basketball court, or I mean like that's like 25 of my houses. So you go, gosh, all my stuff would fit in it, but I wouldn't have enough chairs and all. I don't know. I'm getting off on a tangent. We meet Shiva, his fiance, who is beautiful and young, and I think she's young. I can't tell. No one in Beverly Hills seems to age, so she could be like 90 or 19. I can't tell. But she's beautiful and seems very sweet. Yolanda makes a little dig about Lisa. I guess Lisa inviting Mohammed. The whole theme of this episode is pretty much everyone but Joyce and Carlton rag on Lisa. So in that context, I sort of rolled my eyes at Yolanda's comment, but when I really try to step back and remember that one, that's editing, and to remember that Yolanda is a very straight shooter. She says what she thinks, but I really don't think she's part of the I Hate Lisa parade. In the context of the episode, it made it look like she was part of the team that hates Lisa, but really I think it didn't mean anything more than what she said. Now the one weird thing with this wedding is when I really thought about it, it was Yolanda's stepdaughter had her wedding at Yolanda's ex-husband's house. So that means that the bride's stepmother's ex-husband. So that's kind of weird, but then it's also her stepsister's father's house. So I'm not part of a blended family, so I don't fully understand how everything interacts, but I guess it's just a sign that everyone gets along really well and they have a healthy relationship. So that's great. Now, Kyle and Mauricio are playing some basketball in the backyard, and they're going to talk about Alexia going away for the weekend. That's pretty much all that was done. So I guess it was just there to set up the next thing, which is we go over to Carlton's going to have this family party. We see her at family business party. We see her at the business. I know that they're like sports agents. I'm not sure what else they do. But then we cut back to Kyle telling Mauricio that she got an email that says that Kyle is no longer invited to the party, but Mauricio is, which I guess is the only reason why they had that first clip there at all. I don't know. I think they had a huge tear-down, slap-down fight. So is it really that surprising that she gets uninvited? I don't know why Mauricio's still invited. But then in real time on Twitter or blog or somewhere, Carlton says that's not what happened. That didn't happen that way. So I don't know. Maybe the reunion we'll hear more about this. I'm pretty sure we will. They're probably the 9-part reunion episodes that they'll have. It'll be pretty soon. The reunions are gonna be as long as the season. And then we get to see Joyce. For once this episode, she pops up, and we are setting up the big cast trip for the season, which apparently is to Puerto Rico. So Joyce is working out with her gal that's part of an organization she owns or runs or works with or something, and they're going to go to Puerto Rico for a photo shoot, and she wants to invite Kyle so she can see how lovely Puerto Rico is and how great the people are. And I'm sure it's true. I've never been to Puerto Rico, but it sounds fabulous. And so if someone wants to invite me, just feel free. But I guess that's going to be the big group trip this year. So we're kind of setting that up. And then Yolanda is going to become an American citizen. So she's studying. And I always enjoy the time with her and David because he's such a straight, like a quiet, stern guy. But it's clear that he really loves her. And I don't know. I always enjoyed these kind of tender, authentic moments. And it's really obvious when they're authentic and when they're like setting up for the camera. And this was, I felt, very authentic. So it's Carlton's big party. Lisa and Ken show up. They swoop on in through the front door. No lines for them, which is why I need to be in a reality show so I can just show up places with my camera and just walk in. And no lines for Nikki. So this comes from my dream, is just no lines anywhere. So they come in and Lisa sort of, can you get me a drink, and sends him off. And then her and Carlton just face things. I like that. I like that they just go right into it. Carlton apologizes, and Lisa says, same way I did in my recap, that she thinks that Carlton got this one wrong. I thought she was very nice about it. Carlton, I think, agreed, and they went back and forth, back and forth. It's clear that Carlton still does not like Kyle, and Lisa said that she did not think that Kyle had any hidden agenda. I'm going to come back to that again in the future, so just remember that. Lisa said that she didn't think Kyle had any hidden agenda. But Carlton does explain that she lived in South Africa during apartheid, so it makes her really strong reaction to Kyle's flippant comment about being anti-Semitic. Makes a lot more sense. Although I feel bad even saying, it's like, how do you, being accused of being anti-Semitic is pretty serious under any circumstances. So, you know, so there you go. But I kind of get it, and Lisa points out that both her and Carlton are British, and they both have kind of a stiff upper lip, and they're more likely to get annoyed or angry than they are to show that they're hurt or upset, which I think is very astute, and I think it's true. I think it really explains a lot of what's happening with Carlton. Now, Lisa and Ken have to go off to work in their second TV show, and they run into Kim, which is so awkward and uncomfortable. And so Kim is still upset that Lisa RSVP'd no and then didn't attend. There you go. So, you know, I'm sort of like, seriously? And it seems like everyone's kind of over this, but my realization is that I feel that whenever Kim interacts with her peers, it's always this really weird experience. Like, she doesn't know how to do it. And that's consistent across all the seasons. She's great with her fans, she's great with her family, but she doesn't seem very good with her peers. And truthfully, if I didn't know Kim's history and I just saw clips of her, I would think that she was drunk or high. I'm not saying that I think she's relapsed, because that's unfair. I just find her behavior so weird and discombobulated and difficult to follow. And that's just my feelings on Kim. So Lisa goes, Ken and Lisa go. Kim comes in to sit down with Brandi so that they can immediately start talking crap about Lisa. So, I mean, at this point in the episode, I'm already getting tired of this. But Brandi's going on and on about Sheena, and I have to admit that if my husband cheated on me with someone, I would never want to see them again. But they are on a reality show. Sheena is on another reality show that immediately follows. It has better ratings than Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So it totally makes sense that she would be there. So to play this big game of, why did Lisa invite her? How could she be there? She's there because it's a Bravo show. Come on. Like, I mean, I know that you can't say that on camera. You can't be like, oh, well, the producers wanted her there. But don't make it this big, huge thing. For the part about how Lisa told Brandi to go talk to Sheena, I don't think Lisa should have. I don't think it's a big deal. I don't think she should have. If she had said it to me, I would have been like, no, Lisa, I'm not going to go do that. Okay. So there you go. Now we get to see Yolanda take her test, and she passes, and yay for her, and I'm so happy and all that. Now the last 20. Come on. Good dog. The last 20 or so minutes of the whole episode just go back and forth between Lisa's photo shoot and Brandi and Kyle talking crap about Lisa. I mean, that's all they did. They basically just got together so they could... Okay. Come on, Ray. Come on. I'm sorry. So they just got together so that they could sit and talk about Lisa. I'm not going to recap it in depth. My notes pretty much consist of me just being angrier and angrier and more frustrated and just wanting to turn it off. So I'll say the photo shoot looked awesome, and I want Lisa's life, and we can be BFFs, and I can bring my other tiny dog who has not showed up on camera just yet, and you know, Pocket and Jiggy can be best friends and all that. The whole rest of the stuff. Well, first of all, Brandi's going to be going to Puerto Rico. She can't even pronounce Joyce's name correctly. And all of a sudden, we just she's just fine going to Puerto Rico, no questions asked. Like, that's not really bizarre. We just sort of skipped over that. Brandi's going, blah, blah, blah. And she's going to bring her boyfriend. What? What? Seriously? Now, this is where I want to get back to the thing about how Lisa said that she didn't think that Kyle had an agenda. Okay? Now, Kyle and Brandi keep talking about how Lisa has this agenda. Lisa has this agenda. Lisa has this agenda. This may be a case of people who have agendas see agendas in other people, and people who are straightforward assume that other people are straightforward. Does that make sense? So I think that's what the case is. Like this whole Brandi saying how, oh, Lisa never told me to say anything or said I had to do anything. But, you know, now that I look back, I think she did. Magically, apparently, made Brandi say things to Adrian. Well, Adrian was I didn't want to say anything, she'll sue me. But, you know, I mean, we saw that. And now Brandi's, you know, talking about how Lisa manipulated her by not actually telling her to ever do anything. It's just ridiculous. And I hope it was kind of embarrassing. The last thing I want to say is them talking about how Lisa's brilliant and this Bobby Fischer manipulation and all this isn't actually, like, they're talking about like this awful thing. Even if it was true, which I don't necessarily believe, but, you know, trying to make it like, oh, Lisa's going to get Brandi kicked out or the country or I don't know, hire a hitman or get her kicked off the show. It's just ridiculous. And it reminds me of when Jill Zarin got into it with Bethany on The Real Housewives of New York. And my assumption is that when they're filming and all these people are starting to talk about Lisa, and by all these people I mean Kim, Kyle, and Brandi, and then occasionally Yolanda says something, but I think Yolanda's about 50-50. You know, sometimes she's right, sometimes she's wrong, but I don't think she has this big hidden agenda. I think they all kind of thought like, oh, it was going to be their turn to rise to the top, you know, but the viewers do not agree. They are definitely, a lot of them are very, very pro Lisa, but it reminds me of when Jill Zarin got into it with Bethany, and how did that end up? Bethany got her own spin-off show, and Jill got fired. So, I hope you enjoy my recap, which was brought to you by myself, my tiny dog Thor, and my mother dog Ray. So, thanks so much. See you soon.